Happy holidays and welcome back to Taylor Thyme. I'm your host, Taylor Pusha. This episode, we are going to be making a gingerbread house cake. And you may be wondering, what exactly is a gingerbread house cake? But when I was featured on Food Network's Kids Baking Championship, Holiday Season Sweetings, that's a tongue twister, but when I was featured on that show, I made a gingerbread house and it was filled with cake. It was super delicious and I won that show. So in this episode, I am going to be recreating that. And this time we're gonna add a little bit of a twist. It's gonna be kind of like a gingerbread house mansion. It's not gonna be too big, but bigger than the one I made on the show because this is a very special episode. So half of it is going to be decorated to be your traditional red, green, and white Christmas cake, and half of it is going to represent kind of like the winter season. It's going to be kind of like an ice palace. You'll see, it's going to be very, very cool. So let's get started. So here I have my gingerbread pieces. All I did to make these was I made a huge tray of gingerbread, soft gingerbread, it's the best kind. And all I did was I baked it in the oven, let it cool completely, and then I cut out my little gingerbread pieces. Super cute. I love these. And so now I get to decorate these. So what I'm going to do is I outlined little pieces on the gingerbread. I outlined 2 windows, a little door, and another little window at the top, just to make decorating a little bit easier, and so I have a little bit of a guide. I'm gonna set this aside. And here I just have some regular, delicious vanilla buttercream. It'll go really good with this cake. So I'm going to cut off the tip of icing. You don't want to cut off too much because with this kind of cake, you want to have some really precise decorating. So I'm going to go around my outlines. Kind of just decorate. Also, for this part, this is not a part you really want to rush because this is actually going to be Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus' new house. So I'm making this house for them. It has to be perfect. Right, so we have one piece done. And now, which sprinkles should I use? Sprinkles, I love sprinkles. I'm gonna take these little pretty sprinkles right here. This side is gonna go on the Ice Palace side. So I have some little, I guess these are dragée sprinkles. They're little balls. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them right onto the icing. Ooh, this is gonna be a little bit messy, but it's all worth it at the end. Also, if you're not ready to get your kitchen messy, then this is not the cake for you because I can just feel my parents going, with all the sprinkles falling on the floor. But it's completely worth it, I promise. All right, it's looking good so far. One quick thing I do have to say is that, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Claus can just forget about the North Pole because when they see this house, they're gonna wanna move into this house and they're gonna love it. They're gonna have all the sweets and sugar and candy they want. It's gonna be all on the outside, so basically they can eat their way in. And I have some traditional red and green sprinkles. Sprinkle this all over. Kind of like we did with the other ones. Super simple. Also, the reason why I want to decorate these first before they're on the cake is because with the gingerbread pieces facing vertically, it's a little bit more difficult to get sprinkles on there and to also pipe on there. So this makes it a whole lot easier. All right, so this one is finished. So we are back and we have our assembled chocolate cake. I did a chocolate cake when I was on the Season Sweeting show, so I thought how perfect it would be to do a chocolate cake for this show. So there's also a little bit of a surprise in the center. So later on when we cut that open, you'll get to see what it is. And so here, start to assemble. Now, we need our frosting, oops, and our gingerbread pieces. I think I'm gonna start with the winter side. So, I am going to place a little bit of buttercream on the cake. Now, oops, scoot this over a little bit. We can put some more icing over here. All right, so we can take our second Winter Wonderland piece, gingerbread, and put it right beside this one. Boom, yeah. This is making me happy. I'm excited. So, you can turn this around. Can you see it coming together? Because I sure can. I'm so happy. Just gonna place these on here very carefully, avoiding the areas with the sprinkles. And we can place our other piece. Ooh. So for our roof, this is where we gotta get technical. So you see in the middle here where our chocolate cake kind of gets in the way of our roof, and we won't be able to place our roof pieces right here. So we can just take a knife and kind of cut in the center. A little bit. I'm gonna kind of use our gingerbread pieces as a little guide. That'll make it a lot easier. You can kind of rest your knife on your gingerbread pieces. So we have enough room for the center of our roof, and now I'm gonna go put these away and save this for later. So now we are back with our roof pieces, and we can start by taking a roof and using a little bit of buttercream. This buttercream is basically like our edible glue for this cake. So we are back, and I have put a little bit of icing on my roof, and now we can put the sides of our house on, and the sides of our house are going to help keep our roof nice and steady. So we can take our good old icing, add some right here, also add some to the inside. Do the same to the other side. Oops. There we go. All right. And now we can add the sides of our gingerbread house. Oh yeah, yeah. Squish those on there. This is a gingerbread house. It has to look perfect for Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They're gonna absolutely love it. This is my Christmas gift to them. Now we can add our inside pieces. All right, so we have both of our gingerbread house pieces on there. Everything is assembled. The front and the back pieces look really nice. Those are going to be the entrances. We have the sides of our house, and we have our beautiful roof. So now we can decorate with all this candy. There's so much candy. So we are going to start on our ice palace side. And so here I have some little cute blue and white marshmallows. These are gonna look very nice. I'm gonna cut these in half. Alrighty, and now we have our little marshmallow pieces, and these are gonna go right on the edges here. This is gonna kind of cover up the little gap you can see between the gingerbread pieces, and it's gonna make it look like it's blending together seamlessly. Take a little bit of our glue, snow, our frosting, whatever you wanna call it. Has many names. Put it on both sides. A little bit more on the side. All right. And now we can fit our marshmallow pieces right in there. I might have cut too many, but you know what? Better be safe than sorry. Add a little bit of our snow, our glue, our buttercream. So now we can do our roof. So for our roof, we're gonna take some more buttercream, of course, and just create some snow on top. Now we can take our spatula and smooth this out really well. We want to make it look like it just snowed, so Mr. and Mrs. Claus don't have to miss the North Pole. They'll be super happy in this house because it also snows in this land. All right, got our icing, our snow on there, and now we can decorate with some more sprinkles. So, for this half, we're going to use some sanding sugar. Sanding sugar is basically just like granulated sugar, except it comes in different varieties of colors. So today we have blue sanding sugar. And you know what? Who even needs the North Pole? The snow that rains down in this land has glitter, it has sugar, and all the houses are made out of cake and made out of gingerbread. So I'd like to see the North Pole compete with this kind of house, because this house is definitely going to win over Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So I found that the easiest way to put the sprinkles on this roof, because sometimes it can kind of slide off, is to kind of take some in your hand and kind of press it onto the cake. A lot of cake artists do this, especially with cakes that you see that are like covered in sprinkles. So that's a really good technique for this cake. All right, so now we have our sprinkles placed onto our cake, and we're gonna create a little bit of a border. We're gonna add some more snow to this cake. So, whoops, get a little sprinkle right there. It doesn't wanna come off. There we go. And so these are some little colorful little chocolate balls I have. They look a little bit like snowballs, like colorful snowballs. So I'm gonna kind of alternate the colors. I'm gonna start with red. Then we can do green and white. All right, so there is that side of the roof. We can move on to this side. All right, straighten these up a little bit. Okay. So we have our snowflakes on there. It's looking really good. And now we can start decorating the bottom. This is gonna get really fun. So I have some little snowballs. These are like little chocolate candies, but they're rolled and covered in coconut. If you don't like coconut, you you can just cover them. If you don't like coconut, you can just make your own little chocolate balls and roll them in some powdered sugar. All right, so we have snow on this side of our roof, and now we can flip it over. And now we can do this side. That is almost it for that side. We're gonna come back a little bit later with the finishing touches. We can come back to this side, and I am going to end up sprinkling just a few more sprinkles onto this roof. Just a few more. So this is one of our last finishing touches. We are finally almost done with this cake. And so now these are our little trees that are gonna go on our gingerbread house cake. It's super simple to make these. All you have to do is take some little ice cream cones, cover them in some frosting or chocolate. I use frosting because sometimes the chocolate can set up pretty quickly, and I just rolled it in a bunch of sprinkles. I just mixed up a bunch of sprinkles for these, and I rolled them all around. So now we can place our trees. Place a tree right here. Actually, let's place this one right here. And this one right here. Place this tree right here. Place this tree right here. Here I have some powdered sugar, just some regular powdered sugar. This is also called confectioner sugar. And now I can scoop a little bit of this. And this is good. This is what's gonna make our cake look really, really good. Just gonna make it rain. Yeah. Oh yeah. This looks good. You can go as heavy or as light with the sprinkle as you want. One little finishing sprinkle. And we are done. We are finally done with our half ice palace and our half Christmas. And it all looks so good together. Mr. and Mrs. Claus can eat their way in. They can one day be in the ice side, be in the Christmas side, go back and forth, and it's super cool. I love this cake so much. It wouldn't be a Taylor Time episode without trying a little bit of this cake, but I really want to save this cake just for them. I want it to be a huge surprise. I don't want to mess it up, so I have some of the scraps that I have from earlier with a little bit of gingerbread here. And we're going to try this cake. This gingerbread is really, really good. And so is this cake. It's super delicious. I just know that when Mr. and Mrs. Claus see this cake, they're gonna move down here immediately. They're gonna forget about the North Pole, and they're gonna love this place. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a very happy and Merry Christmas, and have a Happy New Year's. Bye.